Good morning, students. Today we are going to take up the poem Amanda by Robin Klein. Robin Klein is an Australian author, poet, and she has written many books for children. She has written many poems and fictions also for young adults, and some of the famous books which she has written is Hating Alison Ashley and People Might Hear You, etc. So many books. But she is famous for writing poems and stories for small children. Right, this poem that you are going to read is Amanda. As it is very, very clear, it is about Amanda, a little girl who is constantly pointed out for her mistakes by her mother. She thinks that mistakes that she commits are not a part of good conduct. Her mother always pokes out this, and she wants Amanda to mend her ways. Okay, because she thinks that by telling the good things to do, her child would be a better person in the society. You also must have faced similar situations, right? Each and every person in the class, you must have gone through this phase in your life, right? The phase where you are constantly told by your mothers what to do and what not to do. This is not new to you. This is very, very familiar to you, right? So the children are always told by the parents, they are always guided by the parents, but for the children, they think that this is nagging. Okay, they think that they are not allowed to live their life, they are not allowed to live their life according to them, but they are always poked by their parents, right? So this poem Amanda will go discussing by paragraphs. So the first paragraph: don't bite your nails, Amanda. Don't hunch your shoulders, Amanda. Stop that slouching and sit up straight, Amanda. And within brackets, there is a languid emerald sea where the sole inhabitant is me, a mermaid drifting blissfully. Now you can see clear distinction between the two parts in the paragraph. The first part which is told by the mother, and the second part which is in paragraph, in parenthesis, right, in bracket. This sentence in the parenthesis, in the bracket, is the view of Amanda. Okay, this is what she thinks. Okay, this is not what she says, but this is what she thinks. So her mother tells her not to bite her nails. Now you must have been told by your parents or elder brothers or sisters not to bite the nails, because biting nail is not a good habit. But Amanda had this habit. She had the habit of biting the nails. This is also not a healthy habit, right? It causes many diseases because nails carry the germs. So parents say this. So Amanda's mother also says this, that don't bite your nails. Then she says don't hunch your shoulders. Hunching is bending, right? Don't bend your shoulders, because that is a bad posture. You will have a lot of problem if you hunch your back. Okay, so the mother says don't hunch your shoulders. Stop that slouching and sit up straight. Slouching is usually sitting in a very lazy way on the sofa or the couch. Okay, so Amanda must be sitting on the couch, half sleeping, and she must be seen by her mother, where she says that don't slouch and sit up straight. So mother prefers the healthy habits and the correct postures. But Amanda is lost in her own world. The lines that are in the brackets, these are Amanda's thoughts. She says there is a languid emerald sea. Languid is clear. Okay. There is a languid, clear sea, emerald colored sea. Emerald is the green gem. That is emerald. It's a costly gem. But the color of the gem is green. So here the gem is not used. Emerald is used as color. The green colored sea, where there is only one person living, sole inhabitant. There is only one person who lives there, and that is Amanda. And Amanda in the form of a mermaid, and she is drifting blissfully. She is carried away by the water very, very happily. So she visualizes a very happy and relaxed life. Okay, so when her mother asks her not to do these things, not to bite the nail, not to hunch the shoulders, or not to slouch and sit in the straight posture, she thinks of herself in a very relaxed mode. She wants to enjoy the life, right? So she thinks of herself as a mermaid, and she wants to be carried away by the water in a very relaxing environment, right? So in the first paragraph, this is her thought. Now the second paragraph. Did you finish your homework, Amanda? Did you tidy your room, Amanda? I thought I told you to clean your shoes. I am an orphan roaming the street. I pattern soft dust with my hushed, bare feet. The silence is golden, the freedom is sweet. Now here the poet says that Amanda's mother is inquiring whether she has done her homework or not, right? You must also have faced the same situation. Your parents must have asked you, have you finished your homework, right? So here Amanda's mother asks her whether she has done her homework or not. Then she asks whether she has cleaned her room or not. And then she is reminded, I told you to clean your shoes. So here the stress is on homework and cleanliness, right? Okay, she is asked to complete her homework, she is asked to clean the room, she is asked to clean the shoes, right? So the stress here is on studies and cleanliness, right? But where is she? She is not listening what her mother is saying. She is imagining herself to be an orphan. Orphan is one who doesn't have parents, whose parents have died. Now see to the limit what Amanda thinks of. She doesn't want to be harassed by her mother. So she thinks that she is an orphan. She imagines that she is without parents, and she is freely walking on the streets, bare feet on the dust, making the patterns, right? She is making the patterns on the dust with her bare feet, soft dust. Now you can see her mother stresses on cleanliness, whereas she thinks that she is making patterns on the soft dust, right? Contrary to what her mother sees, right? Her mother wants her to keep everything neat and clean, but she wants to play in the dust, right? And then she is so much fed up with the nagging of her mother, with the constant reminders of her mother, the instructions given by her mother, that she says silence is golden, which means silence is very crucial. Okay, golden, very costly. You should take care of your costly things. You should take care of your precious things. So silence should be maintained. She doesn't like the noise, right? Constantly instructing her by her mother. And then she says freedom is sweet. She feels that she runs away from her house. Okay, she goes into a world where she doesn't have her parents, a world where she is free, because freedom is sweet. She wants to enjoy the freedom, right? Now, coming to the third paragraph. Don't eat that chocolate, Amanda. Remember your acne, Amanda. Will you please look at me when I'm speaking to you, Amanda? I am Rapunzel. I have not a care. Life in a tower is tranquil and rare. I will certainly never let down my bright hair. Right? In this paragraph, her mother is asking her not to eat the chocolates because she has pimples on her face. So she reminds that, see, remember you have pimples, you must not eat sweets. You must not eat chocolates, otherwise they are going to trouble you. So reminds her of her acne and tells her not to eat the chocolate. Okay, and then she is scolded because when her mother is telling her something to do something, Amanda is not at all interested. She is looking elsewhere. And what happens when you are speaking to someone and that person is not looking at you? You feel irritated, right? You don't like that gesture of the person. So what her mother says is, look at me when I'm speaking to you. Don't look here and there. Don't ignore me. Right? So she is scolded by her mother. Now she imagines herself to be Rapunzel. Rapunzel is a character, right? She is a princess who has been captured in a tower by a witch. And she is not allowed to go out of the tower because the tower is too high. She can't go. Right? She is captured at the top of the tower. But this princess, Rapunzel, has long, bright, long hairs, right? Golden hairs. And what the witch used to do, Rapunzel used to make plaits of those hair and let it down. And the witch used to climb using that plate as rope, and then she used to come into the tower. So that was the method by which there were no stairs. That was the method through which one could go out and come into the tower. So the story is like the witch, one day when she goes out, there is a prince who comes into the tower and he rescues the princess by killing the princess, right? Okay, but here Amanda assumes that she is Rapunzel and she is in the tower, and she feels the tranquility, the peaceful and quiet atmosphere there, and she wants to enjoy there. She wants to live there in a very peaceful environment in a tower. And she doesn't want anyone to interfere in her tranquility. Right? She doesn't want anyone to interfere in her peaceful life, and that is why she says she will not let her bright hair down. She would not allow anyone to come in the tower. Okay? Then the last paragraph. Stop that sulking at once, Amanda. You were always so moody, Amanda. Anyone would think that I am nagging at you, Amanda. Now you see the difference between the 3 paragraphs and the last paragraph. In the last paragraph, there is no sentence, no thought of Amanda written in brackets. It is only the mother's instructions. Right? Now she warns her for her odd behavior. Right? She is sulking. Okay, sulking is, that is, one is behaving in a very bad manner, in a very bad mood. Right? And then her mother scolds her. She warns her that behaving in a bad manner is not good. Stop doing that. And you are always so moody. Right? You are always so moody. And then anyone who would see this would believe that I am nagging at you. Right? I am nagging at you. Nagging means I am harassing you. Okay? So people will think that I am constantly harassing you. So here there is no thought of Amanda. We can say that she has not reacted to this. In the 3 paragraphs, she has reacted to each and every situation. But here, if she reacts this by getting emotional, her mother would take this against her pride. Okay, and then she would scold her more and more. So she doesn't think here, she is looking at her mother. In the 3 paragraphs, she is lost in her thoughts. But in this paragraph, she is not lost in the thoughts, rather she is looking at her mother. Right? You can see in this poem that the mother is very, very dominating. The mother doesn't allow Amanda to think of herself. Right? Her mother, who is asking her to do everything, to maintain good posture, to maintain good habit, to maintain cleanliness, all those things, they are very good. Right? They are not wrong. These instructions are not wrong. She is asking to do her homework. Right? Everything that has been stressed is important. But she is lost in her own thought. She doesn't want to come out of her peaceful, relaxed world. Right? She wants freedom and peace in her life. Although she is constantly reminded of her mistakes, her mother wants her to behave properly so that she becomes a good citizen of the state. Right? She becomes a good human being, respected by everyone. But what Amanda wants is not stressed upon. It is not thought by the parents. They don't think that it is at all important for a girl to think about herself. Right? They don't allow freedom to the children. Right? So the moral of the poem is that children need to be allowed more freedom, the power of expression, right? The power to the situation to share with her mother, a congenial environment, a freedom where she can share with her parents, with her friends, everything that she thinks of. The sentences in the parenthesis, in the brackets, which are the thoughts of Amanda, they should have been shared with her mother. But no, she is continuously instructed right? She is constantly reminded of her mistakes. Instead, if the mother would have behaved like a friend, uh, Amanda would have behaved in a very different manner, right? She wanted to be an orphan. That is the extreme of anything. Okay, so here the expression the moral is that children should be allowed some more freedom, right? Excessive nagging or instructing or poking them of their mistakes, reminding them of their mistakes, makes them disobedience, and sometimes this may lead to drastic situations, right? Sometimes children go in depression, sometimes children commit crimes, and that is why they should have a congenial environment at home, right? So there are some word meanings. I will be posting it. Okay, and the literary devices. The literary devices that you see, first is rhyme scheme, AABACCC. Then there is metaphor. Okay, metaphor, emerald sea, sea as green as emerald. Silence is golden. Silence is compared to gold, right? It is as precious as gold. Then freedom is sweet. Freedom is sweet in taste. You love that. So you love freedom as you love sweets. Then repetition is, Amanda is repeated throughout the poem. Amanda, Amanda, Amanda. Alliteration. Stop that slouching. Repetition of S. Sit up straight. S. Tower is tranquil. T. Stop that sulking. S. And then imagery, right? Visual imagery are created. Drifting blissfully in the emerald sea. Then the pattern, soft dust with my hushed bare feet. The patterns that are created in the dust, soft dust with her bare feet, right? These are the imagery. Okay, so this is all that we have, and thank you.